action.
Hey everyone, live from KubeCon in Chicago, and I'm here with Ian Riopel, who is the Chief Customer Officer at Slim.ai. Hi, Ian.
Nice to see you.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go about 10 minutes here, 5 to 10 minutes. We're going to do an intro. We're going to do look at some of the key features. We'll do the live demo. Then I would like to hear some of the benefits of the platform, and then some call to actions that you're looking for.
Sure.
So what we do know about Slim.ai is your container security platform. Would that generally say it, or give us the fuller detail of who you are?
Yeah, so we're born out of an open source project called Slim Toolkit. And we started out very focused all the way on the left and trying to help organizations minimize containers, removing everything that doesn't need to be there, which as a result, you would typically see a dramatic reduction in the container size and in risk, in vulnerability risk. What we ended up learning from a lot of folks that we worked with was they didn't always want to remove everything, but they still wanted to figure out how do they get to that zero vulnerability state. And so now Slim has become more of a collaboration and informed decision and risk acceptance platform, both for the developers, platform leaders, and for the CISOs. And as organizations are going through audits internally or working with external folks, they're able to quickly get to that dream vulnerability zero state in an accelerated manner. Both through using our deep insights around containers and the capabilities that exist there around slimming and hardening, and then also slimming the process of getting things like compensating controls and risk acceptance decisions in place faster.
So would you consider DevSecOps a market right now? Do you think it's a market?
Yes, absolutely. AppSec, DevSecOps, CISOs, platform leaders, all these people are talking all the time, trying to get to the same common goal, which is ship code faster and get out of each other's way.
So let's just go through, what Slim.ai does and
sure.
Through a demo. So why don't we just get started?
Yeah, so what I'm sharing on my screen right now is just a couple of quick slides. So this is what we hear a lot from the community, right? There's this concept of a software producer and a software consumer. And as organizations are trying to get their software consumers or the producer being able to penetrate other markets that might be more critical of what they're shipping them, there's this information exchange of trying to figure out where they can actually trust each other and actually implement and accept that software. The federal government has been doing this actually for some time. They have this whole process around continuous monitoring. We're now seeing that become more prevalent across the broader industry. And this is traditionally done today through emails and spreadsheet exchanges. What used to seem like a very simple thing of me shipping you software and you deploy it has now turned into this very lengthy process, which can drag on for days, weeks, months of us trying to figure out what do I need to fix for you to be able to use or keep my product in your environment? And if you're a software consumer, you're trying to deal with this issue across many, many software producers that are shipping you your software to deploy, and you are trying to figure out how do I get this deployed faster without having to project manage dozens, hundreds of different software vendors and understanding how much risk I'm accepting by deploying it. And so where Slim.ai comes in now is we provide a suite of tools in a common collaboration space where folks can now go through a process of first, let's figure out how we can come up with a common understanding of what risk exists across that environment, and then figure out what are some of the less painful approaches we can take to try to get that vulnerability level down and risk accepted, and then be able to introduce this concept of more continuous monitoring. So it's not a point in time situation, but I can now enable my customers, or I can enable my internal teams to adopt software faster and get those latest and greatest features.
It sounds like that continuous monitoring part of it is a big aspect of what you provide.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we think today that in general, there's this, everyone focuses on going through an individual audit, and then I get through that audit and I'm good. I'm going to wait for the next piece of software to come to me, or the next SOC 2 compliance, or whatever it is I'm going to go through. And the reality is, that's not really how security is supposed to work. We want to actually have a better idea of what our risk state is at all times. The reason we don't spend a lot of time there is it tends to be a time suck, and it becomes a lengthy process of, again, this back and forth and trying to understand each other's perspectives, and then also prioritization within your team. What we hear from our customers is, on average, they spend 30-40% of their sprint time just doing fixes, rather than working on new feature functionality that their customer base ultimately want, and what the developers actually want to work on. And so by introducing more of a continuous monitoring flow, and by introducing not a simple break-fix process, but a compensating control model, we can get people to give more of that time back to developers.
So I'm looking at this slide here. It says a simple workflow to reduce risk in your containers. Mm-hmm. Rank and remediate. Take me through that. Rank, remediate, resolve.
Yes, the 3 R's. So the first thing we want to do is help establish a common baseline. So it's one thing for someone on your team to scan a container, say using Trivi. Well, once that same software or container is scanned by a consultant, or by an auditor, or by a customer that's going to be deploying it, they might be using another vendor like a Twistlock or a Sneak, and no 2 vulnerability scanners ever output the same exact thing. And so what we're trying to do is be intelligent in taking in all that data, normalizing it, and then being able to add additional context, such as, are those vulnerabilities reachable? Do they have known exploits associated with them? Are there fixes available? And then on top of that, we start introducing other types of things from an AI perspective, where we now start to move into the remediation phase, where we say, maybe it's not as severe as you think it is. So yes, this is a critical vulnerability. However, it's only exploitable if you're running it on ARM. So now Slim can send a notice to the team and say, hey, is this running in ARM? And if someone says no, okay, let's risk accept. It's no longer critical. Let's bump it down to a negligible, and store that artifact for our next audit. So when a customer or auditor comes in and asks, well, why are you treating this? Because I scanned it and it gave me a different output. We already have that evidence collected. And this all happened in an automated manner in a matter of minutes, rather than it being a drawn, long out call, Zoom, spreadsheet process.
So how does this abstract the project management that you talked about earlier in the discussion, with the challenge of dealing with lots of different providers out there who all have their own configurations?
Yep, exactly. So the platform in itself basically 10x's, if you want to use the latest term in AI world, is we 10x the ability and throughput of those AppSec people and project managers that are having to reach out to every single one of their vendors every single time there's a new 0 day, or every single time they're going through and trying to deploy a new version that they're receiving. And those folks, right, they're trying to figure out how to scale, because they're getting pressure internally to want to adopt and deploy the latest versions of that software. And the customer, or the producer of that software, is receiving tons of pressure, because they're hearing from the end user that they're not able to deploy the software because it's stuck in security review, and they're threatening to not renew, or I'm not going to buy the product, or I need this new feature for me to actually want it. And by introducing this continuous monitoring and this continuous process of rank, remediate, and resolve, now what we're able to do is that same person can have a dashboard view across all of the different software vendors that they're working with, and have a real-time status update of where are my criticals, how are they tracking to their SLOs, who's actually solving the problems within the time frame, who's not, and also I can receive proactive positioning from my vendors. If I hear about a new 0 day, I now don't have to send an email and set up a call. I can go right into the portal in Slim, and I can see across my software supply chain who might actually still be susceptible to a known new exploit.
Anything in conclusion? How can people learn more about what you're providing, and what would you say to them?
Yeah, so definitely go to Slim.ai. We have the ability to sign up right now for our beta platform and to try out the product. We're welcoming everyone on. There's all types of tools that folks get to use immediately. They get free vulnerability scanning, the trivia and gripe. They have great deep container and insights that our platform provides natively. And then they can choose to invite in other folks and start that collaboration process and their journey towards getting to zero effective vulns as fast as possible.
Ian, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, you can always subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're on all the major social media platforms. You can always find us at thenewstack.io. We hope to see you soon.